What's up, everybody? My name is Scott Waters, and welcome to No Life to Metal. It is time for yet another rock metal update. That's right. Time for another rock metal update. All 12-inch vinyl, kind of mixture of rock and metal this time. I'm going to start off with an original pressing of Poltergeist, and this is Depression. I believe this was like 1988, 1989, somewhere in that area, and it's Swiss thrash metal. I've had the first two Poltergeist albums on CD forever. Did that thrash metal video, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, and I showed those CDs in that video, and so I was looking online. I just happened to find an original pressing of this for a decent price, so I snagged it. Really good condition, obviously very clean, as you can see. No, especially with an all black back, man, you kind of expect there to be ring wear, but there's no ring wear, so it's nice. Now I just need to find the second album, and they've got other albums out too, but I only know the first two. So maybe if anybody's familiar with Poltergeist, outside the first two albums, I'm kind of curious. After the first two albums, did they change styles? Are they good? Are they worth checking into? I'm not sure why. I guess I just assumed that they had split after those first two albums on Century Media, but that's not the case. So this is actually a repressing of Eccentric's third album, I believe, Kin. Super cheap. I got this online. Someone sent me a link and they're like, hey dude, check these out. They're like $9 steel sealed. So I snagged one and sent the link to a few other friends so they could snag them too, because they were super cheap. They are still available online. I think, gosh, I can't remember where I got it from now, but do a quick Google search if you're interested, because yeah, I know a buddy of mine just picked one up, and the price went up a little bit. I think it's like $14 now, but it's still pretty cheap for a brand new, a remastered vinyl on the Music for Nations label. These are all numbered. This is MOV 536 pressing. I believe I read online there was 1,000 copies pressed total. So yeah, UK thrash metal from the 80s. This is not a fan favorite for some reason. They kind of started mixing in a little bit of groove here and there, which a lot of 80s metals bands did as they moved into the 90s. And I think this came out, I was looking for the date, I think this came out in like 92 or 93. And it's I don't care what people say. I think it's a good album. Now, is it better than the first two albums? I don't know. It's just a little different, but I still like it and enjoy it. And I played this thing several times since. I've had it on CD for decades, so I just never owned the original vinyl. So it was nice to get a vinyl pressing of it for such a good price. This one was a pain in the butt to get. I pre-ordered this thing months ago, way before the release date, on Amazon. Brand new Flotsam and Jetsam. I ordered it on vinyl. And this is I Am the Weapon. Now, first of all, this album is fantastic. I really think this is one of the best thrash albums of the year. It's really, really well done. One of Flotsam's best. I really think the last three albums Flotsam put out, ever since Ugly Noise, has been just fantastic. Ugly Noise was a little bit of a departure in sound, but I really liked that album. It's a little bit proggy, a little bit experimental. Then after that, they just went right back into the thrash metal sound. But I thought even Ugly Noise was great. But yeah, it's got hook too. Fast songs. Eric A.K. sounds as good as he ever has. So yeah, really good album. But like I said, I pre-ordered the vinyl on Amazon, and it just kept saying delayed, 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 delayed. And I was like, what the heck, man? And then I started seeing people showing it online, in videos. I've seen them on Facebook and Instagram, whatnot. And I was like, what the heck? So a couple of my other friends also had ordered it on Amazon, pre-ordered it, and they didn't get their copies either. So finally, my copy is actually still sitting on Amazon saying it's delayed. So I haven't even actually canceled it. I'm going to, I assume. But finally, I just ended up ordering it from, gosh, I think it was Zia Records, and they had copies. So I believe this is a red vinyl copy. This is an orange vinyl copy, and the ones that were on Amazon were black vinyl. I really don't care what color the vinyl is. I just wanted the music, and I wanted it on a vinyl. So anyhow, like I said, great record. Don't buy it on Amazon because you're never going to get it. I even had some people try and cancel it and reorder it, and they're still sitting there waiting, saying this. It hasn't been canceled, but it still says that it's waiting. So I doubt I'll ever see it come, and eventually I'm sure they'll cancel it on me. All right, another new album. This is Thingamajigger. New Doug Pinnick album. This is an autographed copy. I pre-ordered it direct from Rat Pack Records. They always kind of do this kind of cool little thing where you pre-order, you get this little 10x10 album cover with usually it's autographed or something like that. And this one happens to be autographed by Doug down here in gold marker. It's a good album. It's exactly what you expect from Doug Pinnick. He's got that soulful voice, which I've always loved about King's X. You know, that heavy grinding bass. It's doesn't quite sound like King's X, but it's a solid album from Doug. I really enjoyed it. So if you like, you know, King's X or any of Doug Pinnick's stuff, or Pound Hound, or, you know, Pound Hound, the 2 Pound Hound records were great. I think you'll dig this Doug Pinnick album as well. It's a good album. So Doug Pinnick, Thingamajigger. All right, this next one's an EP. I've had this one for a little while now. I just haven't showed it yet. But this is the new Enforced, A Leap Into the Dark. It's an EP with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 songs. I believe it's 3 new songs, a new remastered, remixed, whatever version of Casket, a cover version of Deadly Intentions, and then The Chases On, which is also a cover version. So I'm trying to remember. I think Deadly Intentions is Obituary, and I think The Chases On is English Dogs. But yeah, it's a good out. I really like this band. They're really good. The thrash metal, modern thrash metal. You know, they definitely take you know, the late '80s and early '90s thrash masters and mix it into their sound. But they do their own thing as well, and you know, together with some modern production, these guys are just fantastic. Also love the old school look at hand drawn cover art. I'm getting really tired of all the AI covers, so this looks fantastic. And it's a good album. Highly worth checking out if you're into thrash metal. And I'm talking like brutal machine gun riffing, you know, thrash metal. As well as this one, I think this is a fantastic release. This is a new Nasty Savage. I ordered this directly from, I believe, from the band. Mine came with a little, I don't know, 5x7 promo photo, which you can see on the back there. But if you like the first 2 Nasty Savage albums and EP they released back in the 80s, this thing sounds a lot like it. Now, I don't think any of the guys from the original band are actually on this release. I didn't do my due diligence and look it all up, but I'm pretty sure I'm correct. Obviously, Nasty Ronnie is on it because it wouldn't be Nasty Savage without his vocals. But yeah, this is a fantastic thrash metal release, and as you can see from the cover art, it kind of echoes back to those, you know, first 2 albums in the EP. So I really think that they found a solid sound on here, and really showing the new school how the old school do it correct. So great stuff. This is black vinyl. Mine's 231 out of 250. I think there's other colors out there, and they're also numbered, but like I said, I'm not all that concerned with the color of the vinyl. I just want the album, and I want it to sound good. This next one's a test pressing. I don't usually show test pressings in these videos, but gotta show this one. This is the new Iron Jaw. This is coming out in January 2025. It is on pre-order now, and it's on my label, nolifetilmetalrecords.com. This is Texas heavy metal in the vein of Judas Priest, that kind of sound. I'm not saying they're Judas Priest clones by any stretch of the imagination here, but you could definitely, that's the inspiration. So think, you know, songs like Bullet Train, or I'm trying to think of what other, Painkiller, you know. That's kind of with the high screaming vocals and the more mid, I mean, the vocalist in this band is just superb. And this is their second album, their sophomore release. Highly recommended if you like just great screaming heavy metal. Like I said, like Judas Priest. I mean, that's the band I think they closely compare to. But yeah, if you're into anything like, you know, that, like Armored Saint or Iron Maiden or Saint, or I mean, there's just tons of bands, you know, in that traditional heavy metal sound. That's what you got going on here. Iron Jaw features Rick Perry, who's right here. Rick Perry was the guitar player from Puncture, the industrial band back in the 90s, and before that he was in the thrash band Gamicide from Texas. There are only 200 vinyl copies pressed, so if you're really interested, get them quick. Like I said, nolifetilmetalrecords.com. You can pre-order now. It's going to be red vinyl. It will be one of my top albums of 2025. It's just that good. All right, next band I don't know a whole lot, but it was a gift from my good friend Heath Miller. Known Heath for years and years. Back before there was Facebook, even before there was MySpace. Back when it was, we had these boards, and we had this board called I know we had the Heart of Metal board, and I think that board's still around. People still on there. I think I'm still even a moderator on it, although I don't really do the boards anymore. But he sent me Acid Bath and When the Kite Strings Pop, and I got to confess, he said, I want to send you something you don't have in your collection, and this is one I didn't have, and it's a band I don't know all that well. I've only got to spin it a couple times now, and I like what I heard. It's very unique. I'd kind of put them in the doom metal category, but they have some other unique sounds too. Now, I'm assuming that some of you guys that are watching know this band better than I do, so I'd love to hear what you guys think of this band, Acid Bath, and specifically this album. What are your thoughts on Acid Bath when the kite string pops? And let me know your thoughts. I actually posted this on my Facebook page, and a few people said, I'm surprised you like that album. And both persons that said that, I was like, why? Question mark. Never got a response back, so I'm not sure why they would think I wouldn't like this, but if maybe one of you guys knows, maybe there's, I don't know. Why wouldn't I like this? Anyhow, Acid Bath, thank you, Heath. I was going to do a live opening on it, but I just didn't have, well, I just didn't have time, frankly, and I got tired of waiting to do it, so I popped it open so I could hear it, and I just let them know that I opened it. So I'm showing it now. Anyhow, next up, this band, if you've been on my channel a number of years, or if you know my old website, nolifetilmetal.com, that site's still there, you know that I was a Stryper fanatic for years and years and years. Seen them live. Actually, my band played at the Stryper Expo in 2002, I think it was. But yeah, and I think some of their last few albums have been really good, and most of the time I buy them as new releases. But I don't want to really get deep into it, but something happened with them and me. You ever heard the thing, don't meet your heroes? Well, yeah, something kind of spoiled it for me. So when the new album came out, I was not all that excited about it. I just kind of like, yeah, whatever. I'm not even going to buy it. Well, thankfully, a friend of mine who is a Stryper fanatic, he's like, dude, you got to have it. This is a great record. So he sent me a copy of the new Stryper record, which is When We Were Kings, and it's a really cool looking vinyl. This particular one I think is yellow and black swirl, which is, obviously apropos to Stryper being, yellow and black attack and whatnot. There you go. So what do I think of the album? As usual, Michael Sweet sounds great. His voice hasn't suffered at all. But overall, I think this might be the weakest album that they put out under the last four. It's not that it's bad, it's just that it doesn't pop. It doesn't call me back for more listens. It's just kind of sits in the middle of the pack kind of thing. And I'm not sure it's, my, because of the situation that I dealt with a little while ago, or if it's just because I don't know. I don't think it really is. I just honestly think the album's not clicking with me all that much. I've listened to it like 3 times already. I need to give it more spins. Perhaps it'll grow on me. If any of you guys love this record, I'd love to hear from you and hear what you think about it. I'm not saying it's a bad record, like I said, and I'm not saying these guys are bad at all. It's not that. So anyhow, Stryper, When We Were Kings, the new album from them. And yellow and black vinyl. I actually did some work on this album because Girder Records had an exclusive release on this, and I did the 2x6 hype sticker. So yeah, I did a little bit of work on that album as well. So, all right, some Japanese pressings. An original pressing of the New Wave of British Heavy Metal Classic compilation of Metal for Mothers, which I believe was the worldwide premiere, basically, of Iron Maiden. Other than they did put out a single, I believe, the Soundhouse tapes or whatever it was. But I'm pretty sure that this is like what introduced the band to the world. But on top of that, there's Angel Witch and Ethel the Frog, which is in no way metal. But back in the early '80s, in the new wave of British heavy metal, which now people have this big distinction between hard rock and metal. Back in the 70s and early 80s, there wasn't this big distinction. It was all kind of, part of the same thing. The first wave of metal was what? The first wave of British heavy metal was what? Deep Purple, Black Sabbath, Judas Priest, Uriah Heep, Budgie. That was kind of the first wave. Rainbow, UFO. So that was the 70s bands, and those bands had a good mixture of styles, Black Sabbath doesn't sound like Deep Purple, doesn't sound like Rainbow, doesn't sound like UFO. They all have their unique sound, but they were all that kind of hard rock, heavy metal sound. And so in the 80s, this is actually like 78, 79, when the new wave of British heavy metal started, NWOBHM, as most people call it now, those bands were also very, varied in sound, and bands weren't confined. You know, you didn't have to, like metalcore bands now, almost every song is the same. They never kind of vary from that kind of sound. Whereas bands back then, man, they could mix in classical, they could mix in jazz, they could mix in blues, you know, and it was all part of the same band and their sound. That's unfortunately that is kind of gone these days. And if a band steps outside of, you know, down tuning 2 steps and screaming at you like a banshee, then it's no longer considered metal. So most of these bands on here wouldn't be considered metal anymore by today's standards. But yeah, Toad the Wet Sprocket's on here. Praying Mantis, which are a very proggy band. Obviously, Iron Maiden is on here, and they have 2 songs, Wrathchild and Sanctuary, which are early versions of the not the album version. And Angel Witch are obviously, most people would call them metal. Samson were metal. And then there's a band on here called Nuts, which I thought were just okay. But anyhow, cool release. Nice to find a Japanese pressing. This is actually one of the few Japanese pressings I've ever seen where there's a little bit of wear on the, mostly on the edges. You can see the little bit of wear. It's not bad. And I'm a little bit curious if anybody owns the this pressing, this Japanese pressing. I kind of think that this might be, if you look right there, you see the obi strip, how it looks like it's wrinkled. I'm wondering if it's a repressing or if that's the way the original obi stress printed, because it actually is in the print, that look where it's, you know, either wrinkled paper or fabric or whatever it's supposed to be. If anybody owns this on an original, you know, Japanese pressing with the obi, was the original a silver and this is a repressing? Or I'm just curious, because I mean, I've never seen another one. It looks like the original pressing to me. I just find that the odd texture in the background here. See here, they got the wrinkles. Like it almost looks like if someone scanned the silver or something like that. Maybe I'm wrong, but regardless, I got this for a great price. The vinyl is in mint condition, and I've had this thing on CD for decades. So it was nice to pick up that vinyl copy, especially a Japanese copy, for the price I got it for. All right, everybody's gonna be like, you can't tell me you don't already have that record. I do. I have several copies of it, but this is a Japanese pressing of Aerosmith's Greatest Hits. And I own most Aerosmith records as Japanese pressings. I just didn't own the Greatest Hits one. I own the white special edition that came out in Walmart a few years ago. I own an original U.S. pressing. Those are the only 2 albums, the only 2 I own. Now, I know I'm not a big fan of Greatest Hits, but this album came out, gosh, 1980, I think. And I had a cassette copy in my little boombox, and I would walk around my neighborhood for hours just listening to that tape over and over and over again, just flipping it around and listening to Greatest Hits. And yeah, so I've always had a kind of a soft spot in my heart for this album, not only because it's, you know, of that time period, me listening to that album so much, but just because I'm such a big Aerosmith fan, and I'm also a big Aerosmith collector. So just one that I was missing and added it to my collection. And I actually grabbed this too. I'm going to reach behind me and grab it. I wasn't going to show it, but I think it will anyhow. This is the more recent pressings, the new versions of Aerosmith Greatest Hits, and most pressings are black with, red with black wings. This one happens to be black with red wings, and it's, I don't remember where this one's from. Let's see here. Is it a U.S. pressing? I can't remember what I don't even know. It's pressed in the Czech Republic, but that doesn't mean anything. Anyhow, I got it for a good price. It's still sealed. It'll probably stay sealed. It's literally because I'm an Aerosmith collector, and it's just, I have the big box, the 5 LP box set. So did I need this? Well, of course I did. No, it's just Aerosmith, and I collect anything Aerosmith, especially when it comes to vinyl. So it's just a numbered deluxe edition. This one happens to be number 2,463 of 3,700. You think, wow, that's a lot of pressings, you know, and that's the rare one. Yeah, this thing was pressed. Tons of these things are pressed. So, but yeah, this black one doesn't show up too often, and when it does, it's usually $40 and $50, and I just didn't want to pay that. So, got this copy for I can't remember. I think it was $24.99 with free shipping. So I snagged it. Otherwise, I probably would have left it and not worried about it. But like I said, I've been kind of keeping an eye open for a decently priced copy, and finally got one. Back to the Japanese pressings. This is Runaways, Queens of Noise, and I love this album. I love the first 2 Runaway. I love most of the Runaway stuff, but those first 2 albums I just have always loved, literally since I was a kid. I used to be in love with Cherry Curry and Lita Ford when I was a kid, and I mean, obviously they weren't hard in the eyes. But regardless, very clean copy with the original Obi strip on it. That's actually, here, let me open this one up. Because the Japanese pressing is a gatefold, as you can see, and the U.S. pressing that I've owned for decades is not. Plus, I just like Japanese pressings. I love the smell of used vinyl. You ever walk into a record store and then you just smell the used vinyl? It just has that aroma. Some people, my wife thinks it's nasty. I kind of like it. But in any case, Runaways, Queen of Noise, hard rock classic from the 70s. You know, one of the original all-female groups. Everybody knows their story. You know, there's been movies about it and everything else, books published. And obviously, Joan Jett and Lita Ford both had very successful solo careers. So, I don't think I showed this one in my last video, but I couldn't remember and I didn't bother go looking. So, but this is a Japanese pressing of the Green Manalishi 12-inch EP with Breaking the Law, and You've Got Another Thing Coming live with the original OB, obviously, and it's got the insert, and it's in great condition. So yeah, I couldn't pass this up. Actually, several of these I bought from the same place, and I was like, the shipping was expensive. It was like $20, 20 something, maybe like, I don't know, $20. And but if you bought more than one record, the shipping didn't go up. It's like, man, if I'm going to spend $20 on one record plus $20 shipping, I might as well see what else they have. And I grabbed this one here, and I think I might have grabbed I think it was the Aerosmith one that I grabbed, and then I also grabbed the Runaways, this Judas Priest one. So, yeah, I like Japanese pressings. They're collectible. They always have great sound. They're almost always in great condition too, man. The Japanese people really took care of their records. I hardly ever see copies that are beat up or destroyed. So, all right, keep going because I'm running out of time. And this is I'm going to be doing a update live bootleg album, but this is kind of a compilation of a mixture of live and studio. 2 LP set. This is the Eastern Front live at Ruthie's Inn. And it's in the early to mid 80s. Ruthie's Inn was like the place in California for the punk and thrash metal bands, and the crossover bands. You know, bands like Metallica and Megadeth and Death Angel and just all those Bay Area bands were playing this place. And so you got live tracks from two live tracks from DRI. You got Gutter Slut from Violence, Edge of Death by Hex, Dogs of War by Sentinel Beast. Raw Power, Laws Rocket, Awesome, Fuhrer, War, Tyrannicide, Unknown Soldier, Forbidden Evil, who obviously became Forbidden, March into the Fire, and Morally Bankrupt, Malinger with the Devil. So that's disc 1, and that's all live. Disc 2 is Sacrilege, Skinned Alive, Anti-Mob, So What's Up, Ruffians, Run for Cover, Heathen, yes, that Heathen, Goblin's Blade, Death Angel, Mistress of Pain, Chronic Plague, The Inquisition, Legacy, Reign of Terror, Bloodbath, Messiah, The Tempter, Blind Illusion, Smash, The Crystal, and Aftermath, Win, Lose, or Draw. So yeah, it's a great compilation. And the second disc, like I said, is not live. It's mostly studio stuff. So really cool compilation. And you can find these fairly inexpensively. But if you're a thrash metal fan, this thing is just a historic release that belongs in your collection. And why was it in mine? I don't know. I just kind of forgot about it. And I was going through compilations not too long ago. We were doing a show on the Metal Roundtable about compilations, and someone else showed it. So I'm like, oh man, I forgot about that. So I looked online and I found a copy for a good price and snatched it up. So there you go. All right, this one's not metal at all. It's not even rock. This is prog, but I'm going to show it anyhow. This is Ozric Tentacles, The Floor Too Far Away, on purple and green haze vinyl. I always love the art for the Ozric Tentacle stuff. I love this band. Very unique. If you're a fan of prog, atmospheric music, gosh, I don't even know how else to explain them. They're such a unique band. If you're a prog fan and you like long songs, you like noodling, I think almost every one of their albums is mostly instrumental. Sometimes they'll use vocals as like a part of the music, but it's not like lyrics. These guys are fantastic. I mean, I love this band. I'm constantly looking to add their stuff to my collection. They've been around since the 80s and they're still putting out music. So, and if you're if you know the Metal Roundtable at all, and you're part of that show, we talk about Ozric Tentacles all the time. It's kind of an inside joke as well. Like Carcass hates. Carcass loves Ozric Tentacles, and Rob hates Ozric Tentacles. It's not really true. Rob doesn't hate them. It's just kind of the inside joke. But yeah, great band, and you can kind of find these here and there for a good price. They've all were re-released and remastered not that long ago on vinyl. So you can, if you look around, you could definitely find the Ozric Tentacle stuff. But there's a lot. There's a huge catalog of stuff. All right, let's see here. We've got just a few more. Let's see what I want to show next. Let's do this one. This is Starwood. This is If It Ain't Broke, Break It. And it's Lizzy Borden. So following the death of their original guitar player, whose name I wrote down because I knew I'd forget, Alex Nelson. When Alex Nelson passed away, the band kind of fizzled, and regardless, they ended up getting together and recording this album. So as you can see, it's basically the guys from Lizzy Borden. And put out this fantastic album that kind of fuses the 80s Lizzy Borden heavy metal sound with some like Iggy Pop, New York Dolls style punk, and definitely some of the 70s glam like you would get from like I don't know, Mott the Hoople or The Sweet, David Bowie. So those kind of mix in. So that all kind of is put in a blender and put into this album, which I think is one of the best Lizzy Borden albums. I absolutely love this album. I've been hyping it up for decades as one of their best albums. When I got to meet Lizzy one time, I took this album, the CD version of this album, to a show and had him sign it. And he's like, wow. He goes, I didn't think anybody knew this band at all. And I'm like, dude, I love this album. And I had him, of course, autograph it. Him and his brother Scott. And yeah, it's a great album. If you like Lizzy Borden, do yourself a favor and and you're into vinyl, get one now. I think there was only 300 copies pressed. And once Lizzy Borden posted it on his website, man, they just started disappearing like hotcakes. So anyhow, boonsoverstock.com is where these are available at. And they will be available in your local record stores too, because they did go into distribution, but I just don't know when that is, when they'll be available. All right, so let's see. Everybody knows one of my all-time favorite bands is Thin Lizzy. Went to see Armored Saint last night, wearing the Armored Saint shirt from last night, and they were opening up for Wasp. Armored Saint were stupendous. I mean, awesome. But at one point, he's talking about dual leads, and he's like, and dual guitar and all that kind of stuff. And he's like, you know, that's just one of the things you have to have in heavy metal. He goes, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, and he says, and my favorite band, Thin Lizzy. And I was like, yes. You all know Thin Lizzy is one of my favorite bands. So anyhow, this is the brand new 2024 remix of Jailbreak, remixed by Richard Whitford and Scott Gorham on 180 gram gray vinyl with a printed insert and everything. Slightly altered cover, as you can see. The cover is kind of like the negative version of the original cover, and but it also features all four guys on the cover, whereas I think the original only had the three guys, and one of the guys was either off to the side, you couldn't see him. But regardless, this thing is cool. If you're a Thin Lizzy fanatic like I am, this is worth picking up. Now, people have asked me, is it just the same album remastered? No, it's remixed. And they went back to the original, tapes, master tapes, and they found all these like little pieces of Phil Lynott speaking and little parts that they edited out and took out that they put into here, alternate guitar solos, I think, stuff like that. It's really, really cool to listen to. If this album is ingrained into your memory like it is mine, do yourself a favor and check it out. Kind of like when Kiss put out Dynasty Destroyer, and they put out the remix Destroyer. That's another one of those albums that's just ingrained in my memory since I was a kid. So you hear all these cool little differences that makes it a fun and enjoyable listen. And also, this is a gatefold, which I'll show you real quick. It mostly has pictures of the singles and whatnot from on the inside. You can see the original insert had the guys running, and which is right here, and that part basically showed through the die cut hole in the original European pressing. The US pressing was just solid, and it's just, like I said, still only showed three of the guys because they were probably big like this, so somebody got cut off. But yeah, great stuff. And that wasn't the only one. I also picked up the, come on, I'll do it later. I also picked up the Johnny the Fox remix, 2024 remix. Again, you can see the cover is slightly altered. Instead of it being from, blending from black to a burgundy, and now black to like a purplish blue color. Again, remixed, has kind of these unique little pieces that you didn't hear before. You hear things that weren't there before. A casual fan may not care about this, but if you're a fanatic of Thin Lizzy like I am, you're going to love these. They're so cool. I really enjoyed them. Yeah, great stuff. Again, this is also a gatefold, and it's got same kind of deal. It's got like pictures of the singles and that kind of thing in it. And then also the remastered version of the 50th anniversary 2 LP purple vinyl edition of Vagabonds of the Western World. It's got the altered, different cover art, because let me see if I think the original cover is on the inside. It's similar, and it's Jim Fitzpatrick is the artist. See, there's the cover that I'm used to seeing right there. But as you can see, that one's a little different. But again, you can see the singles. And this one is 2LP because they include all the singles that were literally released as singles, not on the album. So you've got, on top of the regular album, you got Whiskey in a Jar, Black Boys in the Corner, which was a B-side track, Rudolph's Tango, Broken Dreams, the B-side track, The Rocker, which was an edited, like a different version than the one that was on the album. Here I Go Again, A Ride in the Lizzy Mobile, the alternative extended version of Whiskey in a Jar, the alternative mix of Black Boys in the Corner, and the acetate mix of Gonna Creep Up on You. So there you go. Now this particular album, I am a fanatic of Lizzy. I really am. I ordered the CD bundle as well. And a matter of fact, I ordered the CD bundle of the Johnny the Fox and Jailbreak 2. Pre-ordered it again on Amazon, and it kept getting delayed, and they canceled my order. So I was like, oh man. So I found another seller online that was selling it for around the same price from Japan. So I ordered it from him, and that's still sitting there saying holding. So I guess I'm not going to ever see that one, and that's a bummer because I pre-ordered it so that I would definitely get one, but I didn't. There's also a box set version of this that I am hoping Santa might bring me, and I might be able to show in a future video. So we'll see. I can't guarantee it, but we'll see. All right, next up, this is definitely not metal, not hard rock, but it's rock. This is the new Van Zant, Johnny and Donnie Van Zant's new solo album. I did not do the layout for this, but I did get to work on this. That little hype sticker there, that's my work. I work with Girder Records, and this is the Girder Records exclusive version. The difference being, instead of a solid color that most of them are, this is kind of a splatter edition. And I'll show you. There you can see the, sorry about that. My monitor just decided it wanted to come on and make all that light. Let me see if I can. So there you go. And style, yeah, Southern rock. I mean, what would you expect from the Van Zant brothers, right? A little bit of, country rock, or I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But definitely a gospel album as far as the lyrics go. It is, 100% a, Christian-based album. As you can see from the cover, the name of the album is Always Look Up. The first single is called Jesus Christ, which is the last song on the album, and it's like a almost 6-minute long jam. If you want to check it out, go on YouTube and check out the song Jesus Christ. It's superb. This is a really good album from them. I really enjoyed it. There you go, Van Zant. This is one that I missed out on originally, but I kind of got into a kick. I was in kind of a Humble Pie and Peter Frampton kick, so I picked up Frampton Forgets the Words. And the Peter Frampton Band. This is an all-new instrumental album, 10 songs featuring Reckoner, Isn't It a Pity, and Lovin' the Alien. So it is basically cover songs, but he makes them into instrumentals. It's a very cool album, and he just, he gets a chance to jam. You know what I mean? He gets a chance to show himself off a little bit. It's not going to be like Yngwie style noodling, nor is it like, I don't know, put it somewhere in between like Phil Keaggy and Yngwie. You know, you got this two different spectrums of instrumental guitar players that are just, you know, have their own unique sound. This fits in somewhere in there between. But yeah, Frampton's a much better guitar player than people know. I really honestly, I love the first 3, honestly 4 Peter Frampton albums, and of course Frampton Comes Alive I think is one of the greatest live albums of all time. I still listen to Frampton Comes Alive quite a bit, and for some reason I just never checked this out until recently. This came out back in 2021, so glad to finally have a copy. Enjoyable record. This last one just was one that I was missing from my collection. I have more UFO albums that I could even show in a video. I probably got like, gosh, 15, 20 live albums, you know, that on top of all the studio albums. But for some reason, this one was just MIA. And I was talking to my friend Kevin online, and we were both missing this album. So I went on a search, and a company had these things for like $19, I think it was. So I went ahead and snagged one, sent him the link, and he snagged one. So if you check out his Old Metal Rockers 65, I think is his channel. He also is going to be showing this in one of his update videos because he picked up a copy too. But yeah, this is High Stakes and Dangerous Men. There was only 2 original members left in the band, Pete Way and Phil Mogg. But it's not a bad album at all. I kind of like this one. I always have. Kind of just forgot about it. You know, when I think of UFO, I tend to play the Schenker era or the early '80s stuff, or some of the live albums, or especially, you know, excuse me, I've got the box set of Strangers in the Night, and I tend to play that quite a bit. So this is just one I kind of forgot about, and when we started talking about it, both of us were like, yeah, I need that one. So went ahead and grabbed it. This literally came in the mail like a day or 2 ago, so I haven't even popped the plastic on it. So I'm looking forward to giving it a fresh spin and hearing it again, really for the first time in years. So anyhow, UFO, High Stakes, and Dangerous Men. And that's my update video for, what I mean, December 2024. I appreciate you guys. I will be doing more videos. I will get the second part of the underground thrash metal video done soon. I got another 7-inch video coming up. Next week we'll be doing our 250th episode of the Metal Roundtable. So lots of stuff coming up on the channel. So I appreciate all you watching. Appreciate all my subscribers. If you haven't subscribed already, please just subscribe. Leave a thumbs up. Share the video, because the more you share it, the more people watch it. And that's it. Appreciate y'all watching. God bless. Stay strong.